In 1871, 5 cattle were abandoned on one of the most isolated islands on Earth. No shelter, no humans, no rescue. Just a wind-swept volcanic island nearly 3,000 miles from Madagascar. And yet, somehow, they survived. For more than 130 years. Amsterdam Island sits alone in the southern Indian Ocean, a remote, storm-battered territory surrounded by freezing seas and violent winds. When a farmer named Hurton arrived there in the 19th century, he hoped to build a settlement, but the colony failed. And when he left the island, 5 cattle remained behind. Most experts would have expected them to disappear within years. Instead, they multiplied. The abandoned animals adapted to one of the harshest environments on Earth. Over time, the tiny herd transformed into a wild population, roaming the island's volcanic hills and rugged coastlines. By 1952, their numbers had exploded to nearly 2,000 animals. But survival came with a hidden danger. Every single cow on the island descended from only 5 founders. That meant generations of severe inbreeding, the kind of genetic bottleneck that often drives species toward collapse. And yet, the herd endured. For decades, scientists believed they understood how. A famous theory claimed that cattle had undergone rapid island dwarfism, evolving smaller bodies in response to isolation and limited resources. Researchers pointed to skeletal evidence suggesting the animals had shrunk dramatically over just 1 century. It became one of the most fascinating modern examples of evolution in action. But decades later, frozen DNA samples told a different story. Long after the last cattle had disappeared, preserved biological material collected in the 1990s and early 2000s remained stored in scientific archives. A team of geneticists reopened the mystery using modern whole genome sequencing technology. What they discovered changed everything. The cattle were not genetically simple. Their DNA revealed a surprising mixture of ancestry. Most of their genes trace back to European touring cattle, closely related to modern Jersey breeds. But another portion came from Indian Ocean zebu cattle, connected to Madagascar and nearby islands. That hidden genetic diversity may have helped the herd survive despite beginning with only 5 animals. And most importantly, scientists found no strong evidence that the cattle evolved smaller body sizes after arriving on the island. The animals may have already been small from the very beginning. The famous dwarfism theory was likely wrong. Even more surprising, researchers found no clear signs of catastrophic genetic collapse. Despite extreme inbreeding, the herd continued to grow, surviving storms, disease, and isolation for more than a century. But while the cattle survived, the island ecosystem was suffering.
Conservationists warned that the growing herd threatened rare native species found nowhere else on Earth, including the endangered Amsterdam albatross and fragile island forests. In the late 1980s, officials began removing the cattle. The final animals were eliminated in 2010. Today, the herd is gone, the island is recovering, and native wildlife is slowly returning. But the frozen DNA left behind by those abandoned cattle gave scientists one final opportunity to uncover the story of one of the strangest survival experiments in modern history. 5 abandoned cows, 1 remote island, and a genetic mystery that lasted more than 130 years.